So what are the pros and cons of living in Denver? We're going to talk about it today, and we're getting started right now. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Alyson Wahl with Keller Williams and Live South Denver. Today we're going to talk about pros and cons of living in Denver. I had to really search for any cons. I tell you, I had one. And then I thought about all the pros and I thought, well, with the pros, always there comes something that can be a downside to it. So we're going to talk through all the things I love about Denver, and I'll give you a little bit of, what's not so great that comes with it. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. Number one, Denver's a pretty diverse community in terms of age range. We aren't just young, we aren't just old, we aren't just families. There's a lot of each age group here, and that makes for a great exchange of ideas, and kids don't grow up in just a bubble of families only. Young folks aren't with just young folks, and retirees aren't here with just a bunch of retirees. So that's really a fun dynamic. I will say the con to that is that there is a little bit of a segregation based on age group. In the suburbs, the South Denver part, which is where I specialize in real estate, there's a fairly decent mix, particularly of families and retirees. But when it comes to millennials, or now what they're saying Generation Z, those folks are generally right in the heart of Denver. I have my younger friends, well, when our kids were younger, they would say that the suburbs, or Highlands Ranch or Parker or Castle Rock, which is a lot of the area down here in South Denver, is where married people go to die. So there's definitely a bent toward younger single or young couples with no kids to stay up in the city. So that's the con, is the segregation by age group. Number two, the beauty and nature in Colorado. This is probably by far my favorite thing about our state. Oh my goodness. I love it here. I am not a native. I will tell people I'm not a native because I'm so excited that I moved here. I love it. I did marry a native, and my kids are, so maybe I'm 3/4 native. I love it here. The mountains, the views of the mountains from Denver and all along our Front Range, the sunsets, the aspens and the other trees that change colors in the fall, all the trails that we have. It is so beautiful here. That is absolutely probably my number one pro about Colorado. So what could possibly the con be to that? Well, everyone else wants to live here because of it. And that gives us two downsides. One is there's a lot of traffic here in Denver. Along the main thoroughfare in I-25, stretching from south suburbs and north suburbs heading into the city. And that's on your daily commute, morning and evening, and even over the lunch hour. And then two, our cost of living has really increased. Denver used to be a fairly affordable town. It kind of rose and fell with oil and gas. We were an oil town years ago. And now we are just seeing a constant increase in cost of living here. We're on the trajectory of some of the major cities across the US that are more like New York, San Francisco, Chicago, Miami. Number three, the weather. I love the weather. I came from the South where it was hot and humid and mosquitoes and bugs. Oh my, and I'm not a fan, and neither is my daughter, so it's so good we're here. We get all 4 seasons. We have nice dry air. We have sunny days, so many sunny days. I heard someone else say they didn't think we had that many sunny days. We do. I will tell you, if we go on 3 days of clouds around here, you will start to hear Coloradans complain. And we talk about after a while that we really are so spoiled and we could never live in the Pacific Northwest because we don't know what to do if we have more than a day of clouds. So the weather is fantastic. So what could a downside be to great weather? Well, there are windy days. And when I say windy, I don't mean a strong breeze. I'm talking mild hurricane force winds, and you have to go out in it. And it is biting. It's frustrating if you're a lady and your hair is blowing in your face. It's so frustrating. So the wind is truly, it will change your mood. It is probably the number one most annoying downside of all the other good sides to the weather, the wind. The other thing about our weather, I mentioned the dry air. We just don't get a lot of rain here. So what that means is we don't have as many lush trees. It's not gonna look like the Pacific Northwest. It's not gonna look like those tall green oaks and nice deep forested paths that you'll see over on the East Coast either. We do have great forests, great hiking trails up in the mountains, and a lot of wonderful places to go. But if you're up on a bluff here, you're gonna see rooftops for as far as the eye can see for the most part if you're in town hiking. So sometimes that's not as pleasant as hiking somewhere else. All right, number 4, another pro. Denver is so close to the mountains. Now, I know there are people who come here and think Denver's in the mountains. They think, in fact, Colorado is all mountains. And for those of you who have already been here, are coming here because you came for a vacation, who've driven through, know that we actually have a whole chunk of the state that looks just like Kansas. Shh, they're the redheaded stepchild. But Denver is so close to the mountains and it's beautiful. We're only about 90 minutes from this south part of Denver where we're really close to all of the straight interstate paths up there. 90 minutes to Vail, which is one of the most popular ski resorts around. And well, I will tell you, that's without traffic, which is my con. The weekend traffic to get to the ski resorts during ski season is not so great. So if you're a local, ideally you can kind of drive up there on the off times. So on a Thursday night or Friday morning. But if you're gonna leave on Saturday morning and drive back on Sunday night, you're gonna spend almost as much time in your car as you'll probably spend on the slopes. That's the downside. And number 5, there is always something to do here in Denver. Pro sports, there are festivals, there are concerts, we have parks and trails, we have a wonderful performing arts center that brings Broadway shows, we have great breweries, good food, there is so much to do. So what could possibly be a downside to all of those great things to do in Denver? Well, technically there isn't one, but what I want to share is that if you're a suburb dweller, which is what South Denver is, mostly suburbs, then you're gonna need a car to get around to most things. We are not the most walkable city. So there you have 5 of my pros and 5 so-so cons to all the great things about Denver and Colorado. Don't let all those people who already live here, like me, tell you it's a horrible place to live. We only say that because we're trying to keep it a secret, but I think the secret's already out. If you want more information about all things Denver, all things South Denver real estate, I'm happy to help. Shoot me a message. You can call me, text me, email me, and I would be delighted and honored to help you in any way possible. And hey, hit that subscribe button. That's all pros, no cons. I'll see you next week.